It's now 6:31. Please stand and join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Ted Demain.
Yeah.
Tom Sigurds. Here. Gary Stalboyne.
Here.
Ian Gorman. Sean Cavella.
Here.
Linda Fedor.
Here.
Adrian Ferrari. Did inform me he would not be able to make it tonight. Keith Shealy. All right. Our first order of business is the review and acceptance of the minutes from April 5th. We did have a couple corrections to be made. The first one was on page 4, where it says Adrian motion to accept the Plainfield Board of Education. It should read Adrian motion to accept the presentation from the Plainfield Board of Education 2023-2024 proposed budget. Also, there was a question as to who seconded it. Did we ever get that resolved from the recorder? Are we still in the vote on that? Okay. And the other correction was the spelling of Matt Raven's name. So until we can get the second, whoever made that second resolved, I would suggest you probably table this to the next meeting. So can I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Motion has been made by Ted Demain, seconded by Don Cavella. All right, the next order of business is review and acceptance of the minutes from our April 12th meeting. Hopefully you've all had a chance to review those. Are there any questions or corrections that need to be made?
Point of order. You made a motion in a second, but didn't vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. There's actually something else I need to do as well. At this time, since we are missing a member, I would like to extend voting rights to Linda Fedor for the meeting. You accept?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. We have a motion to table the minutes from April 2nd, April 5th to our next meeting until we can get this resolved. Motion was made by Ted and seconded by Don. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Thank you. All right. Moving on to the minutes from the April 12th meeting. Do we find any corrections or questions regarding these minutes? If there are no questions or corrections to be made, I will look for a motion to accept the minutes from April 12th.
I move.
All right, motion made by John. Do I have a second? Second. Seconded by Tom. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained?
Abstain.
Okay, we have one abstention. At this time, I would like to open up the floor to any citizen, resident of the town that would like to make comment or question regarding the budget process and what we have as a proposed budget. I would ask that you approach the microphone, please state your name and whether or not you are a resident or a property owner in the town of Plainfield. So I'm going to open up the floor at this time to anyone that wishes to make comment of any sort of contribution.
Hi, good evening. Mike Broutman, property owner, Plainfield. I'd like to also mention that I'm speaking now as a citizen of the town of Plainfield, not in any other capacity. I would strongly like to urge the board to accept the Board of Education's budget as proposed. I know that there's been significant discussion regarding rather substantial cuts that would greatly affect the students, the community as a whole. I think any discussion of those substantial cuts would be reckless, irresponsible to the citizens of the town, and poorly informed. As has been shown multiple times by the Board of Education, we went through a significant budget process, and the budget as presented already includes a large amount of significant cuts that have already been made. I also am well aware that several members of the board were not at those presentations and so may not have caught on to all of those. Hopefully they have educated themselves in time and understand how tight this budget is. Thank you.
Is there anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Heather Smith. I am a property owner, and I am here as a parent. I don't think I could say it any better than Mike just did, so I would like to confirm everything he said, and I hope that you will support the BOE budget as presented. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? All right. If not, I will move on to the first item of new business, and that is to discuss and act upon the proposed budgets for the town and the Board of Ed. So I would like to begin by saying that, as Mike has pointed out, the budget process is a long, tedious thing. A lot of thought goes into it, a lot of work goes into it. It's not something that takes place over a month or 2 months or 3 months. In essence, the budget process begins after the one budget is passed. Because then you realize some things that maybe you weren't aware of, maybe new cost effects, maybe new personnel changes, a lot of different things. But sufficient way that we can, without being frivolous, but without hurting ourselves and hurting our future. That being said, one number keeps jumping out to me in conversation that I hear over and over again, and that is the poverty level of our students. We talk about how things impact our kids and how programs impact our kids. The other side to that picture is that when we raise taxes, however we have to do it, for whatever reason, it impacts those same kids in an adverse manner. Because now we're creating another level of responsibility financially for the parents, which if you have a parent that's already struggling to get by, it makes it very challenging. So we have difficult decisions to make, but we have to be mindful of everybody that's going to be impacted. So, but the other thing that I keep thinking about is that we have to keep moving the town forward. We have to do what's best for our young people, and we have to do what's best for those that aren't quite so young. We talk about fixed expenses, but on the flip side, we have fixed income. So we have to be mindful of all of those components when we make decisions that affect everybody that lives in town or does business in town. So those are just a few of my thoughts, and now I would like to hear from the other members of the board.
I will say that there is the option of course, with the cuts that have been made thus far by both Board of Ed and town side, there's been some adjustments, which Kelly has kept us updated on. She has sent us the updated version of the budget. There is the option that with those cuts that have already been made, these two budgets could get sent to the people to decide if they find it acceptable with the cuts that have been made thus far. I would just say that if that's what the plan is to do tonight, is to send these two budgets forward as is, I do still think that we need to have a plan B in the event where people come and shoot both of these budgets down, and then we have to revisit them and see, so what happens next. I know we've been in that position before as a town, as a Board of Finance, and I just wouldn't want to, have to be in that position of coming back after it gets shot down and just kind of looking at each other and being like, so what do we do? We definitely need to, kind of have the plan B in our back pocket, and that, of course, is working, Board of Ed and with Kevin and the town side as far as, so if we have to make some major adjustments, what would that be? Obviously, nobody would want to put those out there, preliminary beforehand, because we don't want people making assumptions that that is definitely going to get cut. But it's just something to keep in mind if we end up sending these forward as is and they do not pass. Thank you.
What's the percentage increase in this budget?
4. So the total was 4% for expenditures. 3%.
I'm looking at my own taxes here, and if we go up 2%, it's going to cost me about 15% more in taxes. I think I could pay it, but I don't think the general public can handle that. We're going to have to cut considerably. I don't know what the numbers are going to come down to, but I can't see us raising it more than 0.5%, the entire budget. And so what I would then do is cut both budgets right across the board. I'm not going to point at the Board of Ed, I'm not going to point at the town, I'm not going to point at the cops or anything like that. That's it. That's how I feel.
I would say let this go as is for the public hearing, then make a final decision there. Like Ted, see what happens after that, make a final decision. But like, Ted just said, and I look at my own numbers, ooh, there's a lot of money. So I'm thinking, we could probably shave something somewhere. And I would, I don't know, I got a number on that. Won't say that at the moment.
I know, Kelly, yeah, what would I asked you before what the mill rate would be now, what the new rebound? Technically, it's going down, but not in reality, roughly.
What the mill rate would be
Yeah,
last
with the
year's-
current fiscal year, but with the new, how it would be.
At the last year tax levy.
Yeah.
20.36,
I think I gave it to 10.
How much?
10.36,
21?
20.
Oh, 202.
Yeah.
That's the other thing we're going to have to explain.
Right.
We dropped the mill rate by 8% or 8 points. And how come my taxes are going up? We've got a lot of explaining to do in this year's budget. It's not going to be easy, not going to be easy. But as far as I'm concerned, we're here to do the job. We want the general public to do the job. We should have just given them the budget. Actually, in future years, I won't be here, but I'd like to see this board tell the departments, here's what we're giving you this year. I'm going to give you $1,000 to spend it. I've already set what I feel I could sell to the budget, rather than go through all this gymnastics of you make a budget, you cut, I cut. I think that's crazy. That's why I want to give you a certain number, and that's it. For everybody to cut. It's not going to be this budget.
Linda, do you have any?
Everybody
Yeah, I'm all
really
in
knows my
favor of
numbers already, so. I'm sorry.
Linda?
I'm all in favor of going forward with this, and I think we need to make the town aware that we do not have control over the reevaluations. I mean, I moved here 2 years ago, and I bought a condo, and when I got my reevaluation statement, my reval was exactly what I paid for it, so I have no complaints. But if I go back 5 years, my condo was valued at $49,000. So, like last year, that's what I paid taxes on. And I don't know, I don't think that there's enough knowledge being shared that we're powerless over the reval. It's not the school asking for too much money. It's not the town wasting money on something. It's numbers. It's math. Anyway, let's go forward. That's my.
At this time, I would like some input. I believe you have something you would like to share.
Just one thing, if you don't mind. And again, thank you for the opportunity. Reval is a big word that we have to get something around. And Ted, the idea that your taxes went up, someone else's taxes may have gone down, because a reval would be different based on each property. So it's not like every year normally would, if we were to drop the mill rate in 1 mil on a normal year, yes, everybody would be equal across the board. But because of reval, everybody's properties are a little different, so it could just be that some people are actually getting a reduction in their taxes, while some other people are actually paying more. So it is something that we really need to impress upon to the public what a reval does. So yeah, we keep in mind what we're doing for our taxes, watching what we're spending on, but the reval is the one variable piece of this.
The other thing I was in my head is that, you know, we have a lot of commerce moving into town that we can't take into consideration yet because they didn't write the check. But the checks are coming. And as a citizen, I mean, even if, you know, I'm probably the only one up here on a fixed income, I don't know, but, you know, I have to write the check too, but if I can suck it up for this year, I'm looking forward to the fact that next year it really should go down. I mean, that's just not pie in the sky whistling, that's what's happening, we're growing.
Any other thoughts?
Yeah, and keeping in mind where we've come, I don't really want to cut programs that, you know, what programs are for or anything like that, because I think we've come a long way on that. You know, that type of stuff. So.
Anyone else? Well, if no one else has anything that they would like to add, then I will look for a motion.
Or,
I'm looking for a motion.
okay, you got a motion.
No, I'm looking for someone to make a statement to make a motion.
Make a motion that we bring the proposed budgets forward for the town.
Okay, Linda has made a motion that we bring forward the proposed budget to the town. Do I have
I'll
a second.
I'll second.
We have a second.
Yeah.
So Linda has made a motion that we bring the proposed budget to the town. Don has seconded. Are there any other comments that anyone would like to make?
Set it at the mill rate, you know, let's look on the, and say 2132.
2132.
Okay. Yeah, make that adjustment.
Okay, the adjustment has been made that the motion of the proposed budget with a 21.32% mill rate be forwarded to the town.
I think we're here to do a job, guys.
Okay,
Let's suck it up and do our job. That's why we were elected. If we're putting it into the taxpayer, why are we sitting here? Do our job. I'm disappointed.
all right.
I hear you.
So we have a motion on the table to send forward the proposed budget with a 21.32 mill rate to the town. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Actually, let me rephrase that. All those in favor of this motion going forward, please signify by raising your right hand so that we can have an accurate record. All those opposed? We have 3 opposed, and we have three opposed. 1 abstention. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so once
3
you
opposed.
acknowledge that you have the 2 opposed, I'm abstention.
So, members served, we have 3-2 in favor with 1 abstention, so we have a motion on the table that has passed.
Was 3 in favor?
Yep, 3 in favor, 2 opposed, 1 abstention. So with that being said, I'd like to get more feedback. So, as to why we're opposed.
I think I've made my...
I have my numbers,
Okay,
and I didn't get rid of any teachers either.
okay. So, Tom, I wonder if you might weigh in as to why you abstained.
Well, part of it is because I don't have an exact number of cuts tonight, and with not hearing much input, particularly from obviously the members who are in favor of it, it's really tough for just one member to put out, the numbers without having really any input from many of the others. So, there's benefits to sending it to the public to see how they feel about this budget the first time around. As I stated, we can't be surprised if it doesn't go through. So, do I believe that some cuts probably could be made at this point in time? Yeah, but we're not really tossing anything out and hearing anything. So, it can go both ways.
So with that being the case, what would your thoughts be? I mean, you're talking about potential cuts.
Excuse me, I'm going to call a point of order, and if I'm wrong, you guys can hang me from the cross. But we called a vote. It was pro and it was con, and yes, there was an abstention. But the next order would be to ask anybody to speak for the minority,
Okay.
which, forgive me, is a Tom. So
No,
I'm not sure.
Well, this is just the way I look at it, is he's the chair, so the fact that he made the comment after the motion of, at this time you would like any feedback or comments, I mean, as the chair, I see it that, he's got that discretion. So that's why, I spoke afterwards. I mean, honestly, if Dean hadn't said that, I don't think we probably would have had much commentary afterwards. So.
I hope you understand I'm not objecting to your commentary.
Yeah, no, I
I'm
understand.
objecting to the Robert's rules, I guess.
Because Ted and I already gave our opinion already, so,
Right.
yeah.
But if we were really sticking to the agenda, technically that after the motion had carried, we already had the time for the discussion and comments, so then the next item is to adjourn.
Well, that's good, but that's right, but I'd also like to understand your position a little bit better. I know you made some comments right at the beginning to have something prepared, but that's if the vote doesn't pass by the town. So I just wanted to hear some additional thoughts in case you had some.
But obviously, it's not just me. I've made my 2 cents. Ted can make some additional comments. Gary can make some additional comments. So I've made mine.
Okay. Is there anything you would like to add?
Fine.
Okay. If not, then I will call for a motion to adjourn. That's the motion we adjourn.
Second.
Move to second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed. Okay. We have one opposed.